We're joined by Ted Hensley, who is running for the Republican nomination for state representative in the 5th District. Ted, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you, Jim, and good morning.
Well, we're just a couple weeks away now from the primary election, and how challenging has this campaign been for you so far?
Well, I've really enjoyed it, Jim. I've enjoyed getting out there and meeting with folks. A lot of folks calling me, offering their encouragement and their support. It's been a lot of I've had some interesting experiences along the way, of course, as you can only imagine. But all in all, I look forward to the challenge of becoming the next state representative.
You've made several strong accusations against your opponent and his fundraising, and pointed out that most of the money that he's received has come from sources outside the county. Now, he says that he has not actively sought that money, that's money that's been given to him by fellow legislators and the like. How would you address that?
Well, Jim, it's not an accusation. I simply had been asked a lot of questions by the citizens. How does a state representative support themselves? And I went on to the state website. You know, there are statutes in place which require all candidates and all elected officials to post for the public's review where their income is, what the sources are. And quite frankly, it was a little bit of a shock for me to see that just a very, very small amount, I think it was $600 or something, has come from the actual citizens of Greene County, the very citizens that he is to represent in Nashville, while the very huge majority of those contributions have come from labor unions, political action committees, and yes, other legislators from across the state and so forth. My question there really is, who does he work for? You know, as an employer and previously as an employee, I know that when the person writing me the check that I need to live on, to provide food for my family, when that person asks me to perform a different task perhaps, or some other change of what we normally do in our business, I'm going to respond. We all know that the one writing the check is the one who is controlling, as it were. So my response to that, and looking at those numbers and thinking through the job of a state representative and representing only the citizens of his county, is to pledge that should I be elected, I will not be taking contributions of any kind from any source outside of Greene County, thereby making myself responsible to and beholden only unto those citizens here in Greene County.
A number of citizens groups are concerned about the plans from U.S. Nitrogen to use pipelines to bring water from and discharge water back into the Nolechucky River. Some people say that there's nothing to worry about and that at stake here are good-paying jobs. Where do you fall in this situation?
Well, I've had a lot of folks ask me about that, and of course I've been involved in that from the very beginning. Early on, the group came and gave some presentations and so forth, and asked that the county commission rezone that. I was comfortable enough early on to provide that my yes vote in the rezoning of that, knowing how hard we've had it here in Greene County these many years, and how that we need good paying jobs and so forth. Industrial development is one of the things that we need to be seeking. And yes, as a trained biologist myself, from the very beginning, I also was concerned about possible pollution of our environment out there, the land, the water, and so forth. So I've been monitoring and watching in great detail all the reports. You know, Jim, we pay millions of dollars to the groups such as the Environmental Protection Agency and the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation and so forth. And they hire some of the best experts, and they analyze. And their job is to ensure that no process out there is going to be causing us a problem with our environment, be it the land or the water. I have to defer to the experts. I have to believe or trust to a certain degree that what they say is correct, and that is that the water discharge from that plant is actually going to be cleaner than the water they take in. Now, I've got a lot of friends that would disagree and say that just the mere fact of even taking the water or using the water for any purpose is a bad thing. But you know, to create wealth of any sort, we have to use the earth, whether we're mining minerals, extracting coal from the ground, growing crops is an extraction of minerals from the earth, and so forth. We have to look at it in a big perspective. And me, for one, I'm simply praying that those experts know what they're doing. I can only imagine that if there were a problem out there, that there would be, somebody be paying dearly, I'm sure. But that is the largest single industrial development ever having been made in Greene County, and there are certainly others that will follow. That's an area of our county which provides both transportation needs, has the open available land and so forth, and with the job situation here in Greene County, as long as, indeed, the experts say that it is safe for our environment, then I say it's a good thing for our county.
How important do you feel that character and ethics are in this campaign?
Well, I, for one, believe that character counts. You know, we even have special programs in our schools trying to teach character. I've been on a tour of our schools lately, and I even see posters up on the walls, you know, that character counts. And there are many elements to what makes up good character, and there are many elements which makes up a person who has a lack of good character. Character counts in all things. If it doesn't, Jim, then nothing counts. And if nothing counts, then you know what? I think I'll go fishing. But I, for one, believe that character is important.
What has been the most rewarding part about this campaign for you?
As far as rewarding, I've had a real sense of renewal of respect for the folks out there that are wanting to try to help rebuild this country, bring it back to its foundational elements. And by that I mean not fundamentally transform, Jim, but fundamentally restore our country. And when I'm talking about restoring, I'm talking about returning it to some of the elements which made it great. There was a time when I was a child that we believed in moral education, and not just character education, but moral. Our churches are responsible for this. They're failing somewhat. Our schools have given up on this, and in fact, have driven away from it entirely. And so we're watching a slow moral decay of our entire country. I, for one, believe that we need to restore moral education on many levels, in our schools where possible, certainly in our churches, and then, coupled with that, to provide the job opportunities so that when these young people who are graduating school have both the skills, the educational needs have been satisfied, they have the moral and the character understandings, and then more than anything on top of that, the discipline to actually go out there and do that job. But education and jobs and a restoration of the elements which caused this to be the greatest country in the world.
Ted Hensley, Republican candidate for 5th District State Representative, we appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity, Jim. And I would like to say that if anyone wanted to speak with me on any issue, my cell phone number is 620-1614. Thank you so much.